Careful here, RM.
Tali's actually going to go back in. Exo popped. Look at the health. He gets back instantly with the Spirit Siphon. They're going to try and chase down Adrian. Jarchi will push it back with the use of the Sonic Wave, but Analog showed up to the party. It's a beautiful sidestep of the hook, but unfortunately, it's not going to be enough to keep his life. As
so close.
Tali just lives. Analog's going to miss him a hook. The Roche is falling. They need a way to jump in. They just picked up the Lumiere. They get the Queen of Pain as well. The control comes out with the Bushwhack a little bit too late. Adrian's going to try and bring down Theolacor. They get the Queen of Pain, but the instant use of the BKB, the Dismember's out. He's able to find a blink down to the south. The Sonic Wave's going to be utilized as well, but Adrian's not in the middle. The Zombie Slow is preventing the Templar Assassin from getting the damage out, so HOKORI, they can target down the support in the Bane, and now they're going to consider chasing Pablo as well. They won't be able to catch up. It's going to be Theolacor that deals the damage required, and meanwhile, this frees up Adrian to jump it all. He's going to look for a TP if they got a stun. Oh, he jumps too far over.
I kind of want to see him go just a Quelling Blade to be able to continuously cut down all those trees for the Hoodwink to be able to play around, and of course just stop the TB from getting burst down with all of that magic damage early on.
Do we feel like Mad Kings have what it takes, Danog? Have they got this one, or is the draft going to be a bit difficult to execute here?
I think the draft has the potential to win. There are a few too many individual mistakes in game number one that don't fill me with the complete confidence. I feel like against another like mid-table Div 2 team, yes, I think they could make it work, but I think HOKORI might just be a little bit too much of a step above.
See if they... well, first I want to say, look at this Observe Ward by Jarchi. This is... I haven't not seen this Observe Ward. It's very, very cool. The one next to the T1 tower from Radiant. Big fan. I like the Terribly pick a lot. I think they are going to have issues with dealing Kim as the game goes on. The matchup... Ooh, Analog! Beautiful hook, and they will still get the kill. I was gonna say you kind of get me all excited for the hook, and then they don't even do any damage, but Theolacor jumps in, making sure there's going to be no escape for the Ember, and it will be first blood given over Analog as well, so this will be an early bottle for the Pudge. I think this is a very, very good Terrorblade pick. Your matchup versus the TA is incredible. You've got a crap load of armor. You've got illusions to be able to deal with refraction as well. TA does come online a little bit faster. Again, we're mentioning 20 minutes. It could be earlier depending on Adrian's item build. I think for Rated, they do have a lineup that if you get first Roche, they can really just run over a lot of the fights. They do struggle in 5v5 team fights as the game goes on. I think their scaling potential isn't going to be there, so they need to make sure they do not fall behind, and that's going to be all off the back of the lane. So do you feel like Mad Kings have a decent setup in the lanes here?
I feel like it could be okay. You probably want to be playing around like a level 3 sort of timing, particularly for this top side.
Analog's going to get another kill onto Jarchi.
Doesn't level up the blink just yet. Oof. There's some nerves of steel right there coming through. I mean, if that was me playing, I'm completely running back underneath my tower, blinking away, wasting any kind of potential to be able to get last hits in lane. That's why these guys are there and I'm not.
So what happens now? They just did... What happens if you die? They did a gauntlet challenge.
It must be torture.
I have no clue, man. Like I said, I put a ban on myself playing pubs ever since that you know.
Iron bottom lane's in a bit of trouble. We'll get some health back thanks to the brain sap, but it's not going to be enough. And we're just seeing how strong this lane can be from HOKORI, something they've pulled out multiple times so far. Vitali onto the Death Prophet with Theolacor on the Marcy, and this is going to enable Theolacor to go back and now block up the smoke camp. He will not be able to unblock the hard camp at the same time, unfortunately.
Still does get the sentry usage out of it, even if it wasn't before the 2-minute mark. I think they're just fine. I mean, the lane's going super well for them so far. A ton of last hits, surviving, not having to use too much regen for the purpose. Nearly up to level 3 as well, and we know how much that Spirit Siphon starts to really beef up. Not quite yet level 3 though, so I feel like they were wanting to go for the kill, but just didn't have the damage capability for that purpose.
quickly take a look at top lane real quick before the action continues down bottom with Arzen on the Hoodwink. We've seen PP play the Hoodwink. Unfortunately, he's been knocked out early on in the low bracket as we got a kill back bottom from Vitaly. So, all right, now at least for the TA dev, we can speak about top without worrying about missing a kill. What are we expecting this Hoodwink to be able to provide the side of Mad Kings in a position 3 role instead of something we've seen played in a 2 from PP?
In the game, are we talking? Or in the lane?
Yeah, sure, in the game.
So I think your lineup really heavily relies on bursting people down before they're able to get off of their defensive spells, right? Like the Flesh Heap is really effective, the Spirit Siphons are really effective, the Sunder, of course, very effective, if you just have the time to be able to use them. Hoodwink, you're going to be able to get a Maelstrom to be able to deal with these TB illusions very nicely.
Not again. Yeah, RM. Another kill is going to be given over to Vitaly. You're just giving this guy such an incredible start to the game. Already a killing spree on the Death Prophet.
Yeah, all of that net worth is in HOKORI's favor right now. So what I was saying before, Maelstrom feels really nice into the Terrorblade with all of his illusions. Plenty of bounces from the Akon shot is a good way of helping to push those lanes out because Bane's absolutely not going to be the one doing it. And now that the
mid is in a bit of trouble. RM doesn't have a level in the Nightmare. He'll sidestep at least the stun, and Theodolakor jumps in to get the trade, but Analog does go down first, so Queen of Pain's going to get some much-needed experience. And she won the gauntlet. Oh, let's go. That should give her an extra level, honestly. Pay to win.
True. What level's your battle pass? Oh, you meant an actual level. I thought you meant a battle pass.
Sure, we'll do actual level, though. That's so much better. Top lane. Big kill for them to find. How did they particularly get this? Does he have a point in Scurry? No Scurry point. No stuns and a real slow.
Reflection's how they did it. It's busted, man. We saw it from the support.
I'm back on the reflection train.
Why not? The other thing as well with the Hoodwink that I've not mentioned just yet is the Aghanim Shard, right? You want to make sure that you're able to purchase it immediately once it gets to the 15-minute mark because look at the heroes that you've got to pair together with it. Of course, you've got yourself with the Sharpshooter, Bot, Sonic Wave, Ember Spirit even able to deal a decent amount of
Adrian's in some trouble! Oh no. Another death on the Templar Assassin, and now RM might be in a pickle too. They're wanting to dive out of the tower. I don't see what's going to stop them. Theodolakor can tank up. Vitaly can tank up as well. They don't have some Spirit Siphon charges. Ember's going to TP down, but he'll be too late. And they might just turn to Pablo. I don't think they're too worried about an Ember Spirit. TA's going to look to respawn and now help out with the damage. They'll finally kill off Theodolakor. Now Vitaly stuck in from the creep. So Adrian gets a much needed kill with a streak going to the TA.
Just diving that a little bit too deep. You know, they're feeling themselves. They want to keep the momentum rolling, but you can't be doing that. You can't be letting a TA back into this game. It is still a TB preferred matchup in terms of position 1 to position 1, but we've seen what TAs are able to do in terms of coming online early, taking that Roshan, using that to be able to snowball before TB can really react.
Speaking of the TB, he's back in the jungle. Lumia, 3 points up in the illusion, so should be able to freely farm. You can put Gardic top lane if you want to, just to be able to soak up a little bit of experience. Or do you feel like maybe you want to put someone else there to try and get towards a faster level 6?
Who can you even put, right? Like, it's not like Theodolakor wants to leave the Death Prophet. This is a really strong lane that you've got together, so you want to extend the laning phase for as long as possible. Same sort of thing with mid, right? Analog wants to be farming here. He's done a pretty good job of being able to survive a lot of the constant harassment that's going to be coming from Jachi. Gardic's going to be the one. Not really capable of farming all that effectively, but he has to be a little bit careful here, RM.
Vitaly's actually going to go back in. Exo popped. Look at the health. He gets back instantly with the Spirit Siphon. They're going to try and chase down Adrian. Jachi will push it back with the use of the Sonic Wave, but Analog showed up to the party. That's a beautiful sidestep of the hook, but unfortunately it's not going to be enough to keep his life as
so close.
Vitaly just lives on a slither of health.
How long have they got left on the EXO? Still about a quarter duration. Might be able to get some damage in onto this tier 1 tower as well. Even something as minor as forcing a TP down towards this bottom side is going to be a big win for them. It's actually Pablo coming towards mid just to try and refill that bottle. Now Jachi to be the one making a lot of these rotations, but he's got rotated on himself. Getting back to the tier 2 tower is Adrian, already forced back into the jungle. Really not what you want on this TA.
And you see how HOKORI have already kind of preemptively set up their vision as well by the triangle. Like, a sentry popped at the Ancients. You've also got the Observe Ward down as well to be able to scout her out. Bottom lane, Pablo.
Dire's top tower
In trouble. They're going to be cautious over Talia. You don't have Spirit Siphon charges to play with. You can definitely kill the Death Prophet. Then showing up with the Sharpshooter, the damage required to kill off the position 3. And now they'll be able to chase TheoCore down as well. So some big rotations coming up from Mad Kings.
Couple of quick kills, that feels nice. Of course, TB continuing to farm. Undying getting all of those levels. That's the important thing for an Undying in the early game. You know, they still don't have amazing tombstone hitters. You know, if a Quap is blinking in super aggressively, you're just going to get rebounded onto. You're going to get Spirit Siphon. You're going to get silenced up, and suddenly a huge portion of the damage that you've got in this super early game, while TA still needs to be able to farm, it's just gone. So, this game prioritizing that as opposed to any kind of decay. Decay is not doing much this game. Good for the laning phase. Beyond that,
is under attack.
Really negligible.
I guess this is kind of maybe the issue with this position for Ember is you don't have Amelia here. Doesn't have the greatest capability to stack up the triangle. So the TA with having a rough start, you can always fall back and farm the jungle fast. But if your team hasn't enabled you, then you're still going to continue to be further and further behind. I'm a bit concerned, and you're also at the stage where like HOKORI can infiltrate incredibly easy. You mentioned about Undying with his skill build, so Gardic with these more points in the tombstone is definitely ready to take fights by the triangle.
Oh, it looks like for now it's going to be in the mid lane. Should be able to get away in time on Jachi, but
Radiant's
that pushing him completely away. He'll get the illusion rune for now. Big rotation coming through from Vitali. Not quite level 6 yet on Pablo, so try and chase down the Ember. Nice. Will be enough though. Doesn't seem like it. Just dropping the seeds of serenity. Got the EXO available if they wanted to. They're going to clear out the siege creep. Analog putting himself right in the center of the creep wave, and Tali wants this can be another tower threat. No glyph available, so mid tower, we know how important it is to be able to protect when you've got a TA lineup.
Oh, they got the stun. TheoCore. A big kill onto Arzim. That's a lot of their burst potential, but he's going to have to use Sharpshooter defensively, and he won't even escape. Vitali chases him down. The tombstone off to the right side, protecting HOKORI and further enabling their control through the mid lane.
Been doing his best to try and push up onto this top side, keep the siege creep alive. TP's coming through, has to be very careful. Caught out by this big rotation. Analog be there in time. He's trying to stay up here for as long as possible. And just be not running at them for as long as possible, then that's going to be a big win. But you don't want an Adrian to be the space creator. You are the one that needs to use the space and really accelerate that farm that you're getting. Because right now, not enough. So he's got the full Dragon Lance at least. That feels kind of nice, especially early on against this Pudge. Quite level 10 yet, but oh man, this is an early as Blink Dagger coming through from Analog. He just wants to get right on top of a lot of these squishy heroes. The Ember Spirit, the Quap, the TA, all of them prime targets for a Blink Dismember.
Mad Kings there. I'm going to try and smoke and move into the jungle, but great position from TheoCore. Is he ever going to be able to break the tree? They still get the Sharpshooter connection. He might be able to escape if Analog lands the hook. In fact, not even required. He blinks in, so TheoCore can have a target to rebound off.
It's top. Chachi's going to get that haste rune, so at least something is going their way. Not exactly I'm hooking the Terrorblade instead of the Bounty Rune, so Analog has a little bit less mana to be able to play around with. Do they look to go for a smoke here? That's what I want to know. I mean, you've just picked up this Glint Dagger. I feel like they didn't necessarily pick up that he purchased it already when Piolico was going for his escape. But I mean, this is the time that you need to be making full use out of this advantage. Maybe he really just wants that level 10. That additional +4 armor is huge when you consider that you're going up against an eventual Orb of Corrosion, you'll be going into a Deso. You've got the phase boots already, but it feels like you need so much more.
Hopefully even gets lucky with one of the neutral items as well. Nothing at the moment. Of course, you're giving the Broom Handle over to the Terrorblade, but later on, if you find nothing at the tier 2, you could definitely take that with the +4 armor. Even the extra attack range you might be considering for a Pudge, but at the moment, in regards to his normal itemization, is going to be going into the Hooded Defiance, so helping his tankiness. It's going to be very difficult for them to blow him up, but for Mad Kings, the Smoker's 3, going to try and move into the jungle, but once again, great positioning out of the supports. Gardeck's going to be able to pop the smoke. Should be able to get back to the tower. They're going to go for this. I don't think you can take this fight now on Mad Kings. Kill the Undying. There's no TPs coming down just yet. They'll even use the Fiend's Grip.
Oh,
so a lot committed on Mad Kings. They will at least get the Tombstone Bounty as well.
Like Lumiere's just going to try and put himself out here. Be a little bit of bait, but it should be pretty obvious that that's exactly what he's doing. HOKORI seem happy enough to just keep these creep waves pushed in or some kind of a defensive rotation out.
Radiant's
Fortunate thing is that Analog, he's just been sitting up top for a little bit of time. He doesn't have that huge net worth lead that he previously had. Pain just closing in the gap, and he actually went the Rot Slow instead of the armor. So to me, that tells me, all right, he's trying to get in onto the Hoodwink or the TA. Ember Spirit doesn't really feel all that impactful. Same sort of thing with a Queen of Pain. You're always going to be able to blink away after the dispute.
Nice Observer Sentry placed down just recently from Mad Kings. They're able to scout out Analog's invis, so they were able to make sure there was no pick off. They might still they go for this. I'm hoping that his Pogo Stick is a little bit better than a Blink Dagger.
Not today, my man.
Indeed. Besides, you've got TA keeping up in farm at least off the rough laning stage that she did have. I mean, this is kind of expected with the hero when you go unaddressed for 5+ minutes. Adrian finding farm, but simultaneously the Terrorblade is also getting ridiculously farmed as well. Lumiere top of the net worth, Mantis Style into the Dragonlance is going to be the build for the position 1 on HOKORI.
They should be able to see a few of these items coming through next. I mean, they're hitting them in all very similar timings. The Hood finished on the Pudge, EKB on the Death Prophet, just 400 gold away. Terrorblade, just 450 away from the Dragonlance. That seems like the key timing to me. But everything else that they could possibly want to be able to just run into Mad Kings, and you know that they need to be able to pick this up prior to Adrian in particular. He's the one that you're looking out for. He's got the Dragonlance, get into that Desolator, and have a free fight, fighting on the back lines with a tanky team, taking a lot of the attention away from him. It's going to be the dream
of regeneration. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
What do we...
Just can't make any moves. They're pushing in the lane so effectively. Yeah. Mid tier 2 towers getting hit. You know some kind of movement's happy, so Gardeck's just playing right in front of Lumiere. It's playing super smart, conservative, but, I mean, again, TI qualifiers, 1 win away.
When an eventual fight does break out here for Mad Kings, who do they need to bring down? Because it does definitely feel like they have the capability to blow one hero up. It's going to be like a sharpshooter into Sonic Wave. You're going to get 1 kill. Who do they need to take out with this combo?
To me, you got to kill Lumiere. Like, this is a game where he actually needs to die. You need to put a lot more attention in trying to take him down. I think you can't afford to expend too many big ultimates on taking out even just the
top lane. Analog's able to find a hook onto HOKORI. Simultaneously, though, they've got the Marcy. Look at the damage from Adrian. He just solo kills the Pudge, and they get another kill. So Mad Kings, the numbers advantage now throughout the team fight. They're going to try and turn to get charged here, but a blink down into the river. Hang on, Mad Kings. What's going on here? 2 kills all of a sudden. You might be considering about looking to take another fight. Meta was expended, Tombstone expended, a lot forced out from HOKORI. So Mad Kings just stall this one out a little bit. They could consider Roshan with the Deso.
They just need to wait for the sharpshooter before re-engaging. They're also fighting underneath an observer ward, so all information being given over to HOKORI for now. That's what happens when you don't go into these armor talents, right? On the punch. It might seem like not much, but...
Analog jump in.
It's not even
Off the mark with Hook. They might be able to blow him up again, but the sharpshooter Adrian doesn't want to run into the middle. With the swarming numbers moving to the secret shop, they're going to be forced to drop the Sonic Wave defensively. It does a crap load of damage, but there's just no... Oh, okay, well, there's a little bit of follow-up with the Acorn shot, I suppose.
Oh, so obnoxious. I mean, that's going to get us in a lot closer to the Maelstrom. That's a pretty big timing for the Hoodwink. Also, nearly level 12, amping up that max damage that he's able to deal from the sharpshooter from 550 to 900. It's really significant. So the fact that they're able to get a couple of these kills is a big deal, man. Like, they have the burst damage now to be able to take them out, and really perhaps regretting the choice to go for that Rotslow talent on the Pudge, because in 2 seconds, TA did 1,300 damage to that Pudge. That's 85% of his HP right now.
Yeah, and now that kill gives TA pretty much a blink dagger. So you have the capability to jump on a chains or jump on a bushwhack or even Bane setting up on a side lane. So now it's just not the potential of you to have to commit Sonic Wave and Sharpshooter blow at one. You could get another kill as well if they're not cautious on HOKORI. So we see Mad Kings feeling strong. The backline, look at Arm's positioning. I think they scouted out the Bane. Gonna look to try and TP out Analog. Will be able to stop that in his tracks.
Good note that they've got a ward up here as well. They have been doing an exceptional job on the supports with their positioning on HOKORI. Almost every single one of these smokes has been completely scouted out with just some great positioning by Gardic to be able to block it, to be able to protect their core. They know that Lumiere is the one that they need to secure this early game for, and they're just going to walk on into Roche, it seems. They've got that server ward and the TA trap, but they're going to just straight up commit to this.
This will go down pretty fast.
Will, but Arcane Rune 10 seconds away from Sonic Wave. Gotta be careful.
Core's gonna drop some vision. Analog's gonna miss him a little. The Roche is falling. They need a way to jump in. They just picked up for Lumiere. They get the Queen of Pain as well. The control comes out with the bushwhack a little bit too late. Adrian's gonna try and bring down Theolicor, but the meld hit's not enough. He finds the blink away, but Mad Kings, they need to retreat. You can't stick around to take this team fight with Exo and Meta used. HOKORI will come out on top on any fight that breaks out.
Pudge just in line to be able to get a blink hook off here.
Another jump in, Analog.
Goes in completely.
Bushwhack's out. Iron should still go down. Do you really want to fight this, Mad Kings? They're posturing on the edge of the team fight. Adrian bringing Vitali down to half health. Will we see his HOKORI when they crew? Oh, Pablo, he's going to go in. All right, Mad Kings, they're going to look to take the fight off the back of the buyback, but the Tombstone's back up from Gardic. It will cover the retreat as Mad Kings feel like they have to deal with the Tombstone before they can pursue on. Slow again, really holding it back. Gardic's just going to sacrifice himself. We'll get Vitali out with the BKB. They've got the
he's got on the high ground.
Just steps in, he didn't make it on the high ground. They had the vision to see the Death Prophet. And now off the back of the 2 kills, this tier 1 tower is going to go down as well.
Pablo's really being that poke and prod, right? He's just scouting out without vision if there's any people hanging around, considering it's daytime. Looking to consistently move on forward, find these free pickoffs without committing too heavily onto himself, because, I mean, outside of the Dismember, there's none of that instant stun coming through. He's got quick fingers.
Theolicor is going to use Sonic Wave. No. She's not going to drop the ultimate. Regardless, even though they don't get... Yeah, they got the tier 1 tower. They shot the lanes out as well, but I like the play that Radiant did, where they just move instantly inside Dai's jungle. They get the farm from the Ancients. They get the farm from the hard camp. They also block the Ancients again. So this is now 2 minutes where Lumiere is not farming Ancients, which is incredibly important. It's just economic damage. It's a big reason why the net worth lead is only 1,000 now.
Yeah, it's certainly evened out quite heavily, even though Dota Plus says it's 100% win probability for HOKORI. I think it's not looking quite that bad. You're nearly picking up that Skadi, though, for Lumiere. That might just be the trigger for them to move on forward. There's a lot of ultimates to be able to get those kills previously, Fiend's Grip in particular. I wonder if they want to use the BKB on the Death Prophet to just run forward with absolutely no fear. Waiting in this mid lane a little bit for now. Be going for a bit of a wraparound, but again, it's the supports that are, in my opinion, leading the charge here. Just always in a good position. This time around, it's on Pablo to be able to catch out some of these cheeky smoke attempts. He's got the safe remnant back onto his own high ground.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
During the tree line, Analog was able to sniff out the Hoodwink's positioning, kill into a T2 tower, and now the outpost control will favor HOKORI.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Suddenly the network lead just blows out once again. It's only 2k, but the map control really does feel overwhelming in HOKORI's favor.
Radiant structure.
Move on forward, hasn't quite used the meta just yet. Here we go, we'll pop it alongside the Metamorphosis. No glyph available after this one's expiry, and no Hoodwink means that the burst damage just isn't there.
The BKB on the clock, the BKB on the TA as well. The Tombstone position is going to make it very difficult for them just to push onto Lumiere's position.
Commit to the melee Rex. They back off immediately. I'll get the ranged. Couple of seconds left. Quarter duration on the meta. They'll be satisfied enough with that. Nice use out of the first Aegis timing coming through from HOKORI, punishing just a single death. That's, again, the poke and prod is only there from the Ember Spirit. TA can't commit to that. Quap can't commit to that. Bane, 0 D push. So, really on Arzen.
You got to go now for Mad Kings. This is a really big opportunity. You're not going to have it for too long. Age is going to expire. Meta's out. You have a really good ward at the outpost. You need to smoke and take a fight. Look at the position though. Oh, they're ready to work. The hook, they get the Queen of Pain, but the instant uses the BKB, the Dismember's out. He's able to find a blink down to the south. The Sonic Wave's going to be utilized as well, but Adrian's not in the middle. The zombie slow is preventing the Templar Assassin from getting the damage out, so HOKORI, they can target down the support in the Bane, and now they're going to consider chasing Pablo as well. They won't be able to catch up. It's going to be Theolocor that deals the damage required, and meanwhile, this frees up Adrian to jump it all. He's going to look for a TP if they got a stun. Oh, he jumps too far over.
High jump champion 2022 just absolutely leapfrogging over him, and well, it could have been a lot worse, that's for sure. Still able to pick up the kill onto the Pudge, gives again more of that net worth over to the TA. She's going to continue scaling, getting into the Daedalus next. It's all again just about that one shot, that two shot coming through. He's going into the Gleipnir next, and I appreciate it. You know, you're going up against a Terrorblade. You want to make sure that you can control all of those cheeky illusions just so that even someone like the Queen of Pain is free to go forward without getting turned around upon. I still think you really need that Aghanim Shard, though. The Hunter's Boomerang is going to do so much just to enable someone like the Quap to blink in, find the target, pick them off.
Speaking to the Quap. Initial silence is there. BKB on cooldown, but no follow-up from HOKORI. Jarchi is going to be okay for the moment. Let's see what Dai want to do. Now they're the ones back in power. Better up. Exo still on cooldown for 60, actually, so maybe they just want to look to recontrol the map, put themselves in a position where when these abilities come back up, then they can look to maybe get a T2 tower.
Dire's top tower is under
careful, I suppose there's no stuns coming, but just the Marcy showing in the lane.
Oh, he's gonna go for... Oh, no. What a read, man. What a read from HOKORI. You already saw Theolocor and Lumiere started to part their way to the next creep wave, anticipating the Queen of Pain from going for another. And now they get the hook mid. Okay. Ooh.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
They have come mid though. Adrian's done a very good job at preventing the T2 tower from being under siege. The side lanes out. Trying to work towards his next items. Like you mentioned, the lead near almost there. And TA almost has a Daedalus. So they will have damage in the fights. My concern is just they need to kill people instantly. And if you don't get the kill straight away, you're going to get kited. Zombie slow, DP is going to chase you down, Reflection slow as well, Rot slow, everything. It's going to be so difficult for Mad Kings to escape once they are stuck in the middle.
Imagine hoping it's going to go. Yeah, the extra 2 Acorn shot bounces. She's given the enchanted quiver over to, because again, it's all about that burst damage, and I feel like you need it on one of these heroes. I would have given it to the Hoodwink, to be honest, just to get that extra range on the right click after the first use of your Acorn shot. It's going to be so key to finding that burst.
And I like this.
Still think this game is a lot on Pablo, though. Like, look at what he's just swapped in. He's just swapped in the Elven Tunic. Not something that you look to give over to a position 4 Ember Spirit all too often, but he is the one that's just putting his body on the line, on the front lines, to try and force them to go on him. Force them to use consumables, force them to group up. That's the key thing. And then if they can get that, then they can get a great Acorn shot.
Great positioning once again. Pop the one here! Oh, they kill the Undying, but it might not matter as Adrian's in trouble. Refraction's back up, and look at the Skadi slow. There's no detection though, so Adrian's going to be okay inside the melt, but the rest of the team, they might be in trouble. Jarchi gets the blink, and same with Adrian. They're still going to look to cut them off though, guarding with the buyback, TPing to the outpost. Wait, Adrian, you can't move into this fight, you can't re-engage! TA goes down, Lumi in with the cleanup. This Terrorblade is doing too much damage.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I admire the guts to be able to go for that, but you just can't do it on your own. You've got to have the boys there. Pablo, again, he is the one that needs to be taking a lot of this attention away, and he wasn't who you led with. It meant that they got all of that damage onto the TA.
Oh no!
That's the vision, man. They've just got vision down everywhere, completely choking Mad Kings inside of their own base, and like King's Landing, it's about to fall.
You
like that?
Yes. Multiple Game of Thrones references now. Okay. I see. Second set of barracks.
We're Dan Aries, you know. This is,
I get it.
Comes with the territory.
The Observer Ward freshly placed. They had the Vision of the Bane under the tower. Instantly getting rid of the tree as well. Who was that? Beautiful play, whoever it was, cuts down the tree. Sharpshooter's going to be expended. And a second full set of barracks going HOKORI's way. 10,000 net worth lead, HOKORI. And he can almost sense that ticket booked over to TI.
He's bot. They're not going to need it to be able to take this second Roche, though. They should see that they're moving on into it. You gotta. This is a full-on commitment. You have to just go. It'll require a miracle team fight. If you can get the Aghanim shot onto the Hoodwink, that'd be a pretty big deal. Just the TA or the extra little bit for the traps.
You might have to just go hit Roche.
Yep, I would do it.
Dire are scanning.
Bot lane, mid lane, pushing in, but this is it. Like, you have to commit. There's no other choice. Someone needs to scout this.
They're going to get the jump on the support instead. Adrian should be able to pick up the Aegis, so they have the second life to play with, but he doesn't have any other members on Mad Kings nearby. Pablo's back in base. Arson's on the left side, but they're going to kite out the Hoodwink. They'll surround the TA on the respawn and jump to the left side on Pablo's escape, making sure there'll be no survivors, because Analog is sniffing out the Hoodwink, just missing, but they call it. They call it. They've had enough. HOKORI, they'll take the loss and fight slot, at least securing a place in the TI last chance qualifiers.